Just to piggyback on yesterday, proud of the way that we stayed together and stayed connected for 60 minutes. It's hard to win in this league, and thought our guys did a phenomenal job finding a way in a hostile environment, just like we talked about. They were in getting a nice lift today, flushing out of their system, and we'll get back to work here on Wednesday. I'll open it up from there.
Go ahead, Adam.
Hey Ben, can you take us through your decision to run the ball to set up Cairo on your final play there? Like what you liked about it, what you saw, and then what you liked out of the execution from your guys up front, specifically Jonah Jackson.
Yeah, it changes pretty quickly there, the dynamic of the game when you're going to have about 50 seconds and three timeouts, and you get a kick return like that. And so we were right on the fringe of where we felt comfortable with Cairo, and we know every 5 yards from there on out is a huge deal in terms of the make percentage. But our guys up front, they did a nice job getting us 9 yards. We needed all nine of those 9 yards to feel really good about the spot that we were in. Had we been able to get the first down there, then maybe we can run it a couple more times and get even a little bit closer. But no, I think we handled the situation really well. I have a lot of confidence in those guys. I thought in the second half we did create some running lanes, and our backs took advantage of that. So we felt comfortable running it in that situation.
Then how about Jonah on that final play? He seemed to get after his guy a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Those guys, they can kick it into an extra gear, if you will, and you certainly felt that from him. I thought there was a big cavity there on the front side, and that's a credit to, I think it was Colston on their outside linebacker, and Durham leading it on through there, and then that combination of Darnell and Jonah, that's been a really strong part of our offense so far this year.
Pat?
Hey Ben, this isn't my official question, but have you ever been blitzed on two-thirds of your passes before?
That's a good question, and I don't know. I don't know that.
I,
That was the interesting thing was not just the percentage, because it was completely different than week one. Kind of like we alluded about, but also the type of pressures that he was bringing was a lot of corner cat, which he hadn't shown a ton of. So I thought we recognized it fairly early, and we did the best we could as a staff and as players to make our adjustments to it.
he didn't turn the ball over. He was only sacked twice. But would you like to see Caleb kind of burn them once or twice and catching them in that blitz? And what did he do yesterday that kind of can apply when you're playing a team that's not going to blitz you two-thirds?
Well, the best thing he did, like you just said, Pat, was he kept the ball out of harm's way. He did a great job protecting that football. I can't say enough good things about their defense in terms of how they create turnovers. I mean, they all these forced fumbles, it's by design. It's very deliberate by them. I thought our whole crew did a great job taking care of that football. And then Caleb in particular did a good job throwing the ball away when things weren't present. And so that was good to see. I would agree with you. We sat and we watched the tape, and we had a couple opportunities there to really get some big plays potentially down the field, and we didn't capitalize on those. Those are a couple that he'd like to have back, but I thought all in all, I thought he played a pretty solid football game.
Courtney?
Ben, on that note, how would you like to see Caleb clean up some of those deep shots that you were referencing that he didn't connect on?
Yeah, I mean, I think the two that come to mind were the first two third downs of the game. The first one to Rome was just maybe a foot or two, a little bit deeper than we would like, and sometimes that happens early in the game when you take a deep shot. Is you're not quite in a rhythm yet, and that can get away from you. So I wasn't too terribly disappointed by it. I thought he made a nice read. I thought Rome ran a good route, and the more time and task we have on that, the more connections we'll get. The second third down of the game, that's one that we need to hit. DJ did a nice job popping open there on that one, and I think that's one of the few that Caleb would like back.
And this defense, obviously, where you guys stand with takeaways, but to have three of the top four interceptions leaders with Tremaine, Shawnee, and Byard, opportunistic, being in the right position, what do you attribute that spike in the last couple of weeks to on the back end?
Well, I think it's a credit to those guys that when they do get the ball in their hands, they are bringing it in, and that's not a given in this league. You would think it is, but defensive players in general, I've been around a number of them that they do a good job with the pass breakups, but not being able to haul it in, and so they do a great job with their ball skills, being able to make those into interceptions. I think the length of those guys certainly helps between, Shawnee and Tremaine in particular. They're really long limbed, and that gives them a natural advantage there. And then I think KB's got some of the best instincts I've been around at that safety position. He's just got a really good feel for where he can almost bait the quarterbacks into putting the ball in jeopardy, and that comes with experience. But he's also just a darn good football player, and he has been his entire career. So that has a lot to do with it. I would say this as well. Things that you overlook are the fact that some of those you're getting good pass rush as well. I don't know that we get that ball or KB gets that interception if Grady Jarrett's not really on the lap of the quarterback there for that one. And so you always got to take that into context. Also, I know those guys don't get those stats necessarily in terms of the sacks when those things occur. Yet they're a big part of why that ball is being put in place like that.
Dan?
Ben, first drive of the third quarter, you got that little short completion to Rome. They didn't touch him, and then he went and pushed the pile for about 12 yards. How do you sort of emphasize or characterize the significance of that, both in terms of what it means in the game and what you guys are establishing from a play style standpoint?
That's who we want to be. That's who we want to be all the time. I felt it a number of times so far this year, not just in that one, but we've had a number of runs. I remember Cincinnati. I felt it multiple times. Last week against who did we play last week? You see
Giants.
how I forget? Yeah, the Giants. When we scored that touchdown run to Kyle Monangai early in the game, you just feel the population around the football, and you feel everybody pushing the pile. I think that's what the great offenses do is they play through the whistle, and to be honest with you, I don't know that you see it enough around this league. I think it's an edge for us.
Kevin?
There was a
Oh. Dan, I think we're losing you a little bit. We'll go to Kevin and then we'll come back to you.
Hey Ben, I can ask a question I'm sure Dan would want to ask. The there was a red zone play to Colston. I think it was third quarter. Looked like a pump and go on your sideline, and I think Vikings didn't bite. Kind of throws. I don't know if it was like a throwaway. I don't know what the options are for Caleb in that situation.
Yeah, he's got to bail out a bad play call is really what it comes down to, and so that's one of the few that I want back as well. It's not a good play.
And
Dan?
then
Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh. Go ahead,
You're good,
Kevin. Sorry.
Sticking with tight end, what did you like about the way Caleb found Cole in the flat a few times, and kind of the way he adjusted to the blitz, or if you guys were rushing the line after a quick play? It seemed like he was really trusting Cole and getting the ball to him quickly.
Yeah, no, he did a nice job. We came into this game wanting to be very completion driven. And yet, when you look at the stat sheet, we weren't as high completion percentage as we would like to be or as efficient. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. But I do think that was him getting quickly to Cole was what we wanted to see this game. That was by design. I thought he had one early on where, we got some play actions going on, down the field type throws, and it's not there. And he's quick to throw him a good runner's ball on the sideline. It happened to be on the Vikings sideline that he caught it, and he turned it into a 6-7 yard gain. But ball location is paramount when he does that. A couple of those hurry up plays, it's same thing. They're bringing the corner pressures, and so they're leaving the flats unattended to, and he's recognizing that quickly and getting the ball out and allowing Cole to run with it. And I thought Cole played one of his best games he has so far this year. And he caught a couple more balls, but I'm not even talking about that. He's great in the running game, and then pass pro, we put him in some tough matchups there on some of their defensive end or outside linebacker types, and I thought he did an outstanding job throughout that. And then when he was a ball carrier, you felt his presence out there. He was lowering his shoulder, he was stiff arming. He brought our sideline to life a couple of times.
Dan?
Try one more time. Ben, the deep shots. How do you get your quarterback to get more comfortable and maybe it's an accuracy thing, but just giving playmakers a chance at some more 50-50 opportunities?
Yeah, I'm not a big guy on 50-50 balls, to be honest with you. I think you can look at my track record of calling games and we like to get guys open a little bit more than just throw it up for grabs. And so that's not really what we want to be about necessarily. I think we're pretty close on that first third down, and the second third down is one that he'd like to have back. And I think we had maybe one or two opportunities more that we probably could have challenged him down the field, and we didn't pull the trigger for a number of reasons. But no, it's something that we're going to continue to work on. That stuff doesn't just happen overnight. It's that's a work in progress. It's been that case everywhere I've been, so I'm not concerned about that at all.
Herb?
Coach, with your running backs, are you at a situation now where you feel like you have two guys equally capable of running everything in your playbook and you and EB are just kind of rolling with the hot hand, or is there a different method to how you guys are divvying up the game reps?
Yeah, I think we're very comfortable with both those guys right now. I think both of them have proven that they're very capable with the ball in their hands. They're very dependable in pass protection. Minus the holding call by Swift early on in that game, I thought he did a great job stepping up in the A and B gaps and trying to form that wall with the offensive line. That team that we just played, they stress you. They stress the interior protection with all the A and B gap run throughs that they try to create. And both of our backs did a nice job stepping up to the plate and trying to shut that down. So, yeah, to your point, Herb, I got a lot of confidence in those guys. And it might be series by series. It might be hot hand. We kind of go based on what we see in practice a lot of the time too. But I feel really good about both those guys.
Pat?
Ben, when you got asked about your record and the place in the NFC North yesterday, you said, "Come on, we're only 11. We're in week 11. It's mid-season now. When are we allowed to think playoffs, and when are you guys allowed to talk about it?"
Um, yeah, I mean we're way far away from that. I haven't even been thinking about that. We're still in the third quarter of the season. That's really what we're focused on. We set goals once we hit the halfway mark, and once we make it through the 3-quarter mark, then we'll start shifting our focus. But we're in a good spot right now for where we want to be this quarter of the season, and we got a tough opponent coming in town here on Sunday.
And how much attention will you guys pay to the injury news coming out of Pittsburgh?
Same as we always do. Each week we monitor that, and just like they'll be doing with us.
Last question, Steve.
Yes. Hi, Ben. Congrats. Now that we're 10 games in, what would you say when you do a little self-evaluation? What are some ways that you've improved in your coaching capabilities?
Well, shoot, I like to think that I'm constantly getting better. I have a better feel for our guys, their personalities. I like to think we're growing closer as a team, not just amongst the players, but with the coaching staff as well. I think the coaching staff certainly understands what I'm expecting more as we continue to go on through this season. And so I really think we're getting better. It's more efficient. We're able to get the players out of the building a little bit earlier in the day because we're getting the work done in a better fashion. And so, yeah, I don't really self-reflect at this point. Maybe that's something I can do when the season's over. But yeah, it's just trying to provide what our team needs to win the next ball game.